This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
It's a lot of thoughts right now running through my mind on this show that we just watched. I think I obviously will get into the whole deal this week of the tour and the show today, but man, there's goods and bads I think can be taken out of the show today, and I think we'll get into all that. But I know a lot of people are excited to watch tonight. Season started. It's essentially bowling podcast season. It's like our season starts today in a sense. Trying to fill content on an off season is always a little bit hard, but I mean, I think we do a good job in that sense. But anyway, Mike, let's go with you, man. How's things? You got a big blizzard, I guess, over by you right now?
Yeah, blizzard going on right here in New Jersey, in the Northeast. I think everybody feels like the same. They're tired of the snow. I think people have had enough of the snow this year, but
hold on, wait. Let me open my blind real quick.
Yeah, beautiful day in Arizona, I know.
Oh, man. 75 here right now. I'm sweating. I'm going to have to turn the AC on, FYI, so.
Yeah, so I'll be out with the snowblower tomorrow morning early, I'm sure, or whenever it stops snowing. I don't know when it's supposed to stop, but yeah, we're in the middle of a blizzard here. Not, well, now we're at the point where we're starting to subtract days from spring break school-wise. So nobody likes it when you get there, when you start losing days on spring break for snow days in the winter. But yeah, it's been a rough winter. It's definitely been a rough winter. I don't know what the weather particularly is supposed to be like tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have some sort of alternative school schedule on Tuesday either. Well, so we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. So did you get the bowl league? Because I know we want to get to the show, and obviously a lot's going on.
I did bowl league. I do have a league report for the people. We'll make it quick because obviously there's a lot to get to tonight. I bowled pretty good. It was on the short. I bowled pretty good the first two games, 212, 230. And then the last game, I lost them, and I bowled terribly, and I missed spares, and I shot 148. And that's about the short of it. So 589 for the three, with a 148 on the back end. So really not that good. My teammate Zach has been whacking them though. Another 715 this week with 269 the last game. So yeah. Good to see at least one person on my team whacking them and bowling really well. But I was in the 140s that third game, so no good. So
sounds like he needed a bowl 260.
Yeah,
for you guys to win.
Yeah, back at him again. Back at him again this week, and then I think I'm off for a week. Maybe I'm just because of some other personal schedule commitments. So yeah, I'll be back this week, and then possibly a week off. Kevin in the chat asking what pattern it was. It was the short pattern. It's Broadway version 2, I believe. Broadway version 2.
I'm just reading some comments here. Craig whammy number. Look at the whammy. Do you remember Press My Luck? That's a great icon. Baby Big Balls Banta. Forrest quadruple B. Brandon Big Balls Banta. I guess that's his name. You think they'll call him that on the CW? Big Balls Banta. I don't know. Maybe. Nico, what's up, Nico? What a start. Huge pocket, needs a kidney, says huge pocket on the short pattern. There's a lot of mixed emotions, I think, Mike. Henry in the chat says CW rocks. And then there's a best show in a long time. Purple Hammer says Rick Allen sucks. I'm not sure about that. I actually thought he did pretty well. And then there was a lot of complaints about the streaming service, Mike. We've already received, I think we almost got like 4 emails from 4 different people in a span of about an hour that the CW was having problems, I guess, with their streaming or not being able to stream from their website or whatever. So I hope they fix that, because that's to me, a big selling point of it being on the CW is not having to, I guess, have a cable service that includes that. Chris Rotterman says, what will it take to go back to Fox? So it's crazy how people have just mixed emotions. Some people really like the show. Mike Worme, I hope I say that right. Huge finish to an overall underwhelming broadcast. I think that's a probably good perspective of the show today, to be honest with you. Lumber in the chat. What's up, Lumber? The stream seems to be split. The legendary Nico is in different comment thread than us. It's just some people amazing, ripping revs, Yellow Magic, Jesper let him down. So the chat is pumping right now. So if you're watching, man, put in the chat what you guys thought of the show. Did you like it better, same, or were you underwhelmed comparatively to the Fox shows?
My guy Kurt in the chat saying best show in a long time all around for a whole. Disagree with you, homie. Disagree with you.
Fred says very flat. They need some chemistry and quick.
All right,
Mike. So, what do you want to start here?
What do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about the show, or do we want to talk about the bowling?
Let's talk about the show, because I think that's fresh on everyone's mind.
Okay, so let's go down that road then.
Okay,
we'll put the bowling aspect on the back burner for a minute, and we will focus the conversation here on this being the first show of the CW era. Right, first show of the CW era. Highly disappointing to me, Rob.
Okay, why?
It's just the same. It's just more of the same. It's the same but worse. It's the same but worse. I'm sorry. I hate to come out and have like the negative take. I know I'm the enemy of fun, and this is I get it, okay? But we're going to do the same thing. That's really what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing, just do it worse. I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Given the position that the PBA is in, given the history, especially the recent history of how things have gone, I really, really wanted to see them try something really different.
So let me ask you, do you think, because I don't disagree with you, I think I have a lot of the same points. Do you think that they just didn't want to take a risk being on a new network and just like changing something really dramatically, being on a new network? It definitely is a risk, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, there's always a risk in change, right? But I don't know. I'm just telling you what I wanted to see based on what what my expectations were going in. So Eddie Grumman in the chat, hope I'm saying that right, says, I say all that, but I say nothing. Give us some examples of what I would have wanted to see. Okay, so you want me to talk examples. I'll talk examples, Eddie. The player intros were comical.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, what are we doing? What like borderline unprofessional, I would say. It was like a bad Kimberly Pressler's pressing questions or something for the interviews. It was the players doing it themselves. Okay.
Do you think it was they tried to play off of like the Monday Night Football, like where they're saying the colleges, like when they're like doing the intros.
Actually, I would have liked it better if they just would have kept it to like, "Hey, I'm Brandon Bonta, Wichita State University," and ended it right there.
The Wichita State University, like
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that's one part I didn't like. What could they have done differently? I mean, Eddie, I don't know if you tune in here a lot, but we've talked a lot about what our ideas would be for the show, and I would like to see more of a hyped up introduction of the players. Okay, give you another idea here. Something that I wanted to see that I didn't see. I wanted to see some sort of what word do I want to use? Not build up, but some sort of recap. Some sort of recap of the play throughout the week, right? And sort of featuring the path that these players took to get there in some way, right? How they use the time to tell the story of this tournament, right? I guess that's another way that I could put it. They didn't do that at all, right? They didn't do that at all. I mean, they mentioned it in the opening about there being 100 people. Now it's down to 5. But yeah, to me, I can keep going. I'm gonna pass it over to Rob to see if he has anything here, or what his response is to this. But that's just 2 examples. One more I'll throw out. Right, one more I'll throw out. Okay. How about switching up the format that the bowlers bowl in? We talked about this a lot. Does it really have to be the 1 frame, 2 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames? We can't try something different there just to try it? I mean, is that really that big of a departure that it's that much of a problem? I don't know. So yeah, you wanted a couple examples. That's a couple examples for you. I can go on. I can give more examples of what I might do differently. Not to say that my ideas are the best or always on point, but we've talked a lot about them here. Go ahead, Rob.
I think you hit a good point about the player intros. I always get messaged from friends at work who don't bowl or don't watch bowling, and they always send me those dart player intros, and they always make fun of me, and they always say bowling could never. And these are like younger guys, like in their like 20s. Like this is like the demographic you want to be for people to watch bowling. And they understand, like they've tried to watch bowling and they were like, yeah, it's boring. They can't do it. But they're really enamored with those dart intros, or just like, it's like, dude, this one guy, he looks like a bowler. You know what I'm talking about? The guy with the glasses, and he comes out and he plays a song, but the crowd and the hype around this guy is like unbelievable. And I bring that up, and look, PBA doesn't have to like exactly copy darts, but I think they need to the CW needed to look at something like that and be like, okay, how do we, get something that the crowd can get really hype around? And it's just, the bowling crowd isn't exactly the most crazy either. I think it's very quiet. It's just, if you ever been to a live TV show, at least some of the ones I've been to, it's very like adult and very professional. It's not very like dart. I think the demographic is a lot different. But I do think the player intros stunk. I do agree with that. I would like for them to, the one shot is also a unique perspective too, because the bowlers could show more emotions after each shot. And I definitely think that would be a positive. But yeah, it's just, look, the definition of insanity, Mike. And I said that to you. I think that's the theme of the show tonight, the definition of insanity. If you don't know what the definition of insanity is, it's doing the same thing and expecting different results. And when I watched the show tonight or today, I just saw bowling on TV again. And I was hoping that I would see something different, or something that maybe could create a viral social media clip. Because we know Bonta Bowling 300 isn't going to create a viral bowling clip. That never happens. Like, yeah, maybe it should, but we all know it won't. always about the players and the some unique thing that happens with the players or something that really is a different type of atmosphere, whatever it is, Mike. And it's just, yeah, I just saw same show bowling on TV. The actual bowling from a bowler, I think was a good show in that perspective. Like the actual bowling itself, it definitely was a good show to watch. And I do believe that Bontup saved it in a way, doing what he did. And I would say the last 3 games, forget the last game. I mean, what that kid did for his first show in the last 3 games kind of saved it in a sense. I think CW would probably be happy with that. Like, hey, this kid bowled 300 his first show, rookie beating Tackett in a major, like crazy, like ending, and what an amazing like story for this kid. But as for the whole show itself, yeah, I just wasn't really impressed, I guess, with it. I just was expecting something different and something a little bit like more.
A couple other observations from me about the show. Great selling point for bowling is that if you bowl, you can also get bullied by everybody.
Oh,
yeah. Let's talk about that for 2 minutes. Let's take 2 minutes of the airtime of the first tournament of the year to remind everybody that if you bowl, you're likely going to get the dog snot beat out of you.
Oh my goodness.
In your local neighborhood, because who do the bullies love more than the bowler kid? I mean, come guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, if anything, like highlight the fact that this guy's a world traveler. Highlight the fact that this guy has made it to the top of his profession. He's athlete of the year in his home country, et cetera, et cetera. But like, let's not, and Kyle Sherman's there like, yeah, I got bullied. I got bullied as a kid too for bowling. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm on one tonight, seriously. And I understand that aspect, but come on, we gotta stand up for our sport, folks. Okay. So if your kid's a bowler out there, you better have a conversation with them about how to handle this when somebody bullies them for the passion that they follow.
Could you imagine being a kid?
Guys, that's still going on. I mean, people are into such weird things today. Like people are still getting bullied for bowling. There's people that do like fake horse riding, hobby horse riding. There's people that do pickleball. There's people that do golf frisbee. You're telling me that this is still where we're at? I mean, I don't know.
So, do you remember we had a conversation about saving bowling, and one of the things that I was on my list was making bowling cool? Advertising that if you bowl, you might get bullied isn't exactly something. If you're 10 or 11 or 8 or 9 years old watching, is going to want you to pick up a bowling ball and go into a bowling center. Honestly, like that, like is in itself like is terrible for them to even bring that up. Like you want to make bowling cool to a younger demographic that watch, right? And instead, you're telling people that there's a chance you could get bullied because you're a bowler. Like it's just
what are we doing? Clears instead of smears on the rack. Dude wipes, clears instead of smears on the rack. Might as well be like bowlers. We poop our pants. What are we doing? Oh my goodness, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, it's too much. It's too much for me. It really is. It's too much. I wanted something different, and no.
Yeah.
No, it's more of the same. It's even worse. Oh, jeez, Rob, what are we doing?
I'm
losing it.
Dude, I haven't seen Mike.
Clears, not smears on the rack. I mean, that's what's on the rack of the show.
Yo,
the kid shooting 300 for his first major title, first show. Clears, not smears. Oh God. Stop.
So can we talk some of the good stuff?
I'm sorry.
Can we talk some of the good stuff that I thought they did from the show? And
All right, go ahead. Was there any? What is the good? What is the good stuff?
so I
The show
personally,
itself was good, but
the show itself was good. Obviously, the bowling was good, and that's something that nobody has control over, right? The matches were close. To most of them, right, were close, and even the final match not being close was awesome to watch. Brandon bowl 300, in a sense, with two different balls on two different lane patterns, I think is a feat in itself, right? Even if the scores were a little bit higher in the end, it's still that's an incredible feat. Uh, I did think that the announcer team, I did think that Rick Allen did a good job. I did for somebody who it's his first show, never did a bowling show before. I do think that he did good. Not just my personal opinion. His voice, the way he sounds, he's a very like professional type broadcaster, and I think that came off really well, in my opinion. Kyle Sherman, I don't think did a bad job, Mike. I don't, considering someone who's notoriously a professional bowler and does social media and YouTube. That doesn't exactly translate to doing full by like full-time commentary on a live television show, right? That's a hard job. I've never done it, but I can't imagine it being easy. I think Kyle did a good job. I was actually surprised. I thought he was going to be a lot worse, to be honest with you. So those two things I think were something you could take out of it good. I also like the fact that they actually showed you how to keep score. I think that was something new and something that a lot of people that are not bowlers always complain about. I'm hoping they run that segment, or Kyle talks about that like every week, even like for them to do that. I think is a start to educating people about bowling, because the scoring is crazy. And if you didn't grow up taking manual score, which I know we did on a lot of bowling centers when we bowled younger, we would keep score on those transparencies, remember, in the colored pencil. And I think that was a good thing too for them to start doing, is at least educating. And they tried to do a lot of that, and I think they did a good job in that sense. So those were a few things that I took out of it that I thought they did well, Mike.
yeah, I'm not so sure I agree with you on the announcing. I mean, I thought it was.
Your doom and gloom, man, is
I
just.
thought it was okay.
You didn't, Mike. Rick, you didn't think Rick Allen did a good job, like for first show?
I understand your point for the first show. Yeah, I guess you could say that, and he did sound professional, but yeah, I just thought that the commentary got lost at times. I would say.
Like, what do you mean? Like, just like just was that just from being their first show and not having like a relationship and just not
Yeah,
having?
yeah, probably just lack of experience on
Of
Kyle's
course.
part of that setting. Being in that setting, right?
Well, you knew there was going to be like gaps. You can't just throw two people on who have never did a bowling live broadcast on a live show. And pretty much they threw him into the deep end in a sense. No?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair to say. I didn't, and I'm going to be honest. It sort of was just background noise to me. I was more focused on the actual show and the shots and what was going on. I wasn't really focused on the announcing all that much.
Yeah, but you're on the record saying that announcing isn't like a big part of the show.
No, it's not to me.
And I disagree so much with you. I think the commentators and the announcers and the play-by-plays like set the whole like mood and set the whole like just vibe of the whole show.
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, that's fair to say. I just don't agree. Not
Okay.
for my experience as a viewer anyway. I like the fact that Rick Allen was on Bowl TV a little bit earlier in the week, and like it does seem like he's trying to learn. It does seem like he's trying to educate himself, etc., which is great, and that's awesome, and I give him credit for that. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it's going to make things go more smoothly in the interim.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna pull up this. What's up, Dougie? At Dougie Vision, we could tell from when he joined the Bowl TV stream that Rick Allen is learning the language terms and everything bowling on the fly. And I
Yeah.
completely agree. And I think he's
Yeah.
learning quick. Like he had some terms that got thrown out. Like he like when a messenger hit the 10, he knew exactly what the like that's just like simple stuff as to a non-bowler that could be hard to pick up. And he didn't look like he had any gap. Like he was confident in his take. Like he delivering really was confident. And even he brought up with the beginning of the show, like, look, like I haven't bowled more than a 150. Like, so he's trying to like set that stage. Like, look, I'm learning. I'm not a great bowler, but I think with his professional background and where I think he is on his first show, I think he's going to grow into it. And I think he's actually going to be a really good broadcaster and going like future. Like he just, it's his the first show, bro. You got to like give the guy and Kyle some leeway there.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think that again, expectations for me were somewhat high coming into this show. I mean, I understand that was probably the wrong way of looking at it. Believe me, but it doesn't matter. My expectations were still we're still high.
So let me ask you, because I see a lot of chatter in the chat room. The chat room is popping right now. Do you think there was a lack of energy from the announcers, and mostly Kyle, just like when like big moments were happening?
Yeah, definitely. I think not every match presents those moments, right? Because some of the matches they get out of hand, right? The wood is out, right? So the focus is not on who's going to win or lose the match. Now, if you get lucky, you have something like what happened with Bonta today, right? Where even though the match is out, the other guy has some run of importance going on, right? And that was great, and that's going to create energy in and of itself, I think. But yeah, you kind of have to be able to find those spots where the energy is, right? And you have to bring it in those instances. And yeah, I didn't really think that they did that very much today. I didn't think that was really there. It seemed very blah to me, if you will, for lack of a better description. Very, very vanilla. And again, I'm not you could put Randy and Rob on the same show, and to me, it's not going to make much difference. I would still say that the show is not what we need to be doing. All right, that would be my overall take, regardless of who the announcers are. But I don't think that having new announcers without a lot of chemistry, not bringing the energy, is gonna make it any better. All right.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I was hoping that CW would just try some different things in general, instead of just putting the same product. And that was my just disappointment. I think I read a tweet by I forgot today on Twitter in regards to like CW like missing a mark of like making a decent change of trying to do something new and exciting, and they just I played it safe. I think they just played it safe in a sense, and playing it safe isn't look what's happened playing it safe in the last how many years. PBA just keeps going from broadcast to broadcast at this point. But anyway, all right, Mike, do you want to talk about some of the bowling? You want to run the ladder, or do you want to?
Let's do it. Let's do it. First run the ladder of the year. Let's get into it. So for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, we have our own set way of reviewing a tournament, and we start with a segment called Run the Ladder, where we're going to quickly go through each match in the step ladder and discuss each match, give some thoughts on each match, and then we have a set of weekly awards we give out. So after we're done running the ladder here, we will give out some weekly awards. So Rob, first match, you had two rookies, two guys who are bowling on their first, their first rookie show. We know that Robarge had bowled on a show before, right? As members, major former college teammates, et cetera, right? Yeah, I mean, really shout to both those guys for making the show, making this major show in their first official PBA event as members. Um, we felt we felt that Robarge and the under was probably the way to go here in terms of a bet, just because I mean we had several factors like they weren't bowling in the same building, right? And the lefties definitely had the advantage this week. And Robarge has a little bit more. Now, this absolutely turned out to be wrong. We underestimated Bonta in this case, but Robarge has more experience,
So
more background, etc.
okay, here's my take, and sorry to cut you off because it's a really important point. Robarge lost this match when he opened in the third and fourth frame or fourth and fifth frame. Bonta was nervous and rightfully so, right? And he didn't look comfortable yet. And Robarge was up after Bonta just split, right? And this was Robarge's chance to really put the pressure on Bonta early on someone who doesn't have their legs under them yet. And then Robarge went and he split or he missed a spare, I should say, and then he split and then completely just gave it right back to Bonta, and then that was pretty much, to me, the end of the match. I was a little bit disappointed in Robarge because I was on I bet on Robarge in that match because of the fact that I figured it was going to be earlier, fresh to a sense, right? After practice, whatever. But Robarge is a lot better with the urethane ball, right? Like just has TV experience and just he kind of set me up for a failure for the next two matches betting wise because I thought that the left was shut out and I was just like, man, like the scores are going to be low again next match. And I was incorrect because EJ was right on his first interview they gave him in the beginning of the show where the scores were going to be high. And it just didn't, it played out exactly what EJ said it was going to play out. But yeah, Robarge lost that match early. And then Bonta got his legs under him and started making really good shots. And then that was pretty much the end of the match.
Well, yeah, Bonta missed the spare early.
Yeah, but it's first frame, so it didn't really hurt him that much.
And I agree with you. Expect Robarge to come out and kind of close the door early, right? And he let him stick around, and he let him back in it, and that was that.
Appreciate it, Hillman. If you got anything you want to ask, let us know. We'll ask any questions, man. Appreciated the donation.
Yeah, we generally don't encourage donating around.
Hey, I'm fine with it. We appreciate it. So anyway, that match seemed to get away from Robarge pretty quickly. Just didn't have it on either lane. And at that point, when you're betting, Mike, you're like, man, is the left shut out?
Like, and Jesper's going to come in and use urethane on both lanes, no matter what.
God, you're gonna get me started on Jesper.
And Robarge used reactive on the one lane.
Yeah.
Right. So you were thinking about that too.
Yeah.
So we go Bonta and the under.
Bonta and the under.
Bonta and the under. And we almost got there. I mean, we were within a few hits of getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, the match was just a little bit more high scoring than we thought it would be.
Can I talk about Svensson for a sec? And Yellow Magic is probably not going to like my comments here about Svensson, but Yellow Magic says don't hate on Jesper. I'm going to hate on Jesper a little bit here because Jesper on the short lane on Viper was probably not going to miss, right? Like that's his wheelhouse. On the 50-foot lane, it just kind of knew that he was still trying to throw that urethane ball on the 50-foot lane. And then you watch the lefties after him, like Fa and even Robarge before him, they were throwing reactive on the 50-foot lane. So those 7 pins that Jesper left on that 50-foot were essentially that cost him the match, right? So I think Jesper still has that problem where he just doesn't want to throw reactive. And he was throwing that IQ 78 the whole week, I believe. I didn't see him throwing. So obviously he got there doing that. But the shows are just a different beast. And I feel like those 7 pins on that left lane were just costing him. And he just never wants to get out of it or throw reactive. And then you look at what Fa was doing after him, and Fa was playing him exactly how Jesper should have played them, in my opinion. Urethane on the right lane, and he should have been throwing a reactive on the left lane. But Svensson just doesn't want to ever get out of that urethane on a longer pattern, and I kind of feel like it always costs him a match or a show. Just my opinion.
It's a fair point. People are saying we have 2 different streams going, Rob. I don't know if
Yeah,
you want to check that out.
It's set up now with the you have the mobile stream and the platform stream.
Okay.
So I think there's a way to hide one of the screens. I don't know. You like YouTube made this thing. I kept it. So I haven't had really any complaints about it. People watch on their phones now. It comes in a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen this before with Svensson, right? It's nothing new. I mean,
Nothing new.
Yeah. So
But I feel like he could win a lot more. I feel like he wins and look, the guy's got like 13 or 14 titles, right? And he wins, but if he would able to learn how to use reactive and really get that as a tool in his belt, I feel like he could win 20 plus titles.
yeah, definitely something that we've seen before, though. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bonta gets by Robars, Bonta gets by Svensson, Bonta has to bowl Grand Fa, and to me, this was the best match of the day.
Yeah. Man, how good is Fa? I mean, I'm so impressed with how, like, every time he makes a show, I love watching Fa. I think he's the best lefty on tour right now. I do. I
think that I agree, and I think that the reason for that is because since these harder urethane balls have come into play, and the impact of urethane has been limited somewhat. I'm not going to say it's been limited, but it's been limited somewhat. I think Fa has emerged as probably the preeminent lefty who can get out of it, right? And use reactive, right? Now, I sell Fa stock.
that was him. That wasn't me.
Yeah, people in the chat are giving me a hard time.
Everyone
I
was
sell
giving-
Fa stock because the left is almost non-existent out there. We're after 1 week, folks. So Tim Anders and Steph and a couple other people in the chat,
Emails,
okay?
comments.
Talk to me as the season goes on, right? Because this was one event, and the lefties had it here, okay? And being one of the better lefties on tour, if you're left-handed and you didn't make a run at it this week, I almost question, like, should you be out there?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Because it's like you're only going to get so many opportunities, and this was one of them, right? So now this is a fair point, Tim. This is a fair point that he makes. He says the left is going to be very different this year because of that committee on tour. It isn't the same thing. Barnes said it himself. You might be right about that. What he's referring to, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is that there's no one lane man on tour. It's going to be a series of people that are going to be doing the lanes, and there's major changes in the protocols that Bolero and the PBA are using to do the lanes at these events. And you might be right, Tim. At the end of the season, you might be right, but recent history, and I would even say, recent past says that the left struggles. The left struggles. You might have a good year here or there, but the left struggles.
Yeah, you've been taking a lot of heat. And Look, I'm just going on record here. I never sold Foz stock, okay? That was your boy right here. He's the one who sold it, but it was one tournament, okay?
I'll
So
take that. He didn't even win. He didn't even win.
all I'm saying about Fa is that how could you not like this guy's game? I mean, he is like your stereo, like he is your like model lefty, like physically.
Disagree
Just
with that.
I think so. The way I mean, just his form and his balance and just everything about what he does, I really, really like watching him bowl. Like he's just solid. Like yeah, his swing is a little bit unorthodox, whatever. But like it all looks good when he at release point he looks great. But he threw that one. He threw a great shot to lose. I mean, he could have struck out to tie in that match. Man, he stoned an 8 like you would just. If that was you or me, I might have kicked the ball return turning around there and then got banned from all CW shows going forward. But yeah, so Fa loses Mike and Bonta then bowls EJ. And man, we got to talk about Bonta for a sec because he didn't flinch at this match. Like he bowled such an amazing game. I think maybe he had like one break or two, right? Where it could have like he could have left a 7. And he was at one point, I think in like the 5th or 6th frame when he threw that shot on the left lane and he turned around and he had that look of like, oh my God, I have the nuts. He turned around and that look was like, I am not losing this match. And I wish I could like pause it at that moment. It was like he was like nodding his head, and he started to talk a little bit. Mike, it's first show as a rookie bowling a 3-time reigning player of the year and was starting to talk a little like, this is like, I'm not losing like in a sense, right? And EJ looked like he had a great look too. He just obviously had a couple bad breaks, whatever, some flat 10s and whatnot. But man, like he gets up in a 10 frame and throws 3 of the best shots I've ever seen a bowl 300 on TV. I mean, safe to say.
I mean, that was a super impressive performance. Super impressive performance. In fact, somebody we had on the show, Zach Harris, writer who did the article on Simo a couple years back, again, who we've had on the show, he tweeted out this morning something about how we should be rooting for Brandon Bonta to run the ladder and win. And I tweeted at him and said, hey, I got bad news for you, Hoss. And he tweeted back at me after the show was over and said, hey, I got bad news for you, Hoss. Because going into that show, let's be clear, there's no way you expect Brandon Bonta to run that ladder and win that tournament and win that event. No way.
It's interesting because no. I think you're wrong here. Okay. I think
Okay.
you're wrong because if you look, obviously hindsight's 2020, right? Now the show's over. You could say, well, I called it, whatever. I would have never called it. Okay. But if you look at it and you say, well, if the left gets shut out, now you could run the ladder if you're Bonta.
No, see, but that's the problem because even if you're able to get through all the lefties, which is an amazing feat in and of itself, then you have to face you have to face the serial killer.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's a
okay,
one-game match.
what?
It's a one-game match.
I understand, but you're talking about the reigning 3-time player of the year who led all week, and this is your first show, first shot at the title, major title, 100 grand. I mean, the list goes on and on of the reasons why you would expect the less experienced player to struggle in that spot, in that situation, and a player like EJ Tackett to then come out and assert themselves and take advantage and win in that spot. And that's why I say that I'm so impressed by what Brandon Bonta did here because Yeah, I never would have seen that coming where he runs the ladder and then bowls so well against EJ. It wasn't so much getting to that spot, like you said, with the lefties, and lefties are kind of temperamental like that. Oh, now they're all bowling on the same pair on top of each other, and who knows what's going to happen. So I hear you on that. But for him to then get through that and bowl the way he did against EJ, that to me was really the most surprising aspect of this performance.
Yeah, so a few points to that is how many times in PBA, like, do you see somebody who's bowled multiple games, winning 2 or 3 games and then getting to the title match, have an advantage even over the best bowler in the world in the final match? I mean, you see that a decent amount because you already have 3 games under the lights. I think Bonta being a rookie in his first time on TV, I think in this case might have actually helped him. Like, I kind of feel like he was playing with house money and didn't really understand, or just kind of being new to it. I kind of feel like in this show, it kind of helped him, like, in a sense. But he also looks the type of bowler, and he reminds me of Chris Vi, by the way. He looks like Chris Vi. I get that, like, Chris Vi look from him. I like, but he has that Chris Vi like mentality too, where I don't think he's a very like emotional bowler. I think he's very even keel. Just personality, temperament. He kind of looks that way because he didn't really get too emotional during that whole like run he made, except for a few times. And I think that also benefits him too on TV, right? You always see those really good even keel bowlers are able to like keep their emotions in check. When someone like me, who would bowl on TV, would be an emotional roller coaster because I'm not an even keel person. So I think that helped him too. So yeah, I mean, we can't say it enough. You know, big congrats out to Brandon, man, the quadruple B.
Yeah, but he's a Wichita State guy.
He is.
I mean, so there's that, right? And you
Yeah.
know that there's a a pedigree that comes along with being a main cog in that program. And the kid has bowled in some big spots before, right? And as we've discussed, Rob, we've talked about this for years at this point now. These young guys who come out today on the tour, like, the learning curve is shorter than ever. The learning curve is shorter than ever because they've been bowling on the types of stuff that they're going to bowl on for numerous years, and they're familiar with the equipment and the moves that are going to be made and the environments they're going to be in. So while the learning curve to me is shorter than ever, still super impressed by the performance. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's one of the best. How else could you not say that? I mean, won a major 100 grand plus shot 300 in the final game against EJ Tackett, reigning 3-time Player of the Year. I've watched bowling for 30 some years. I can't think of a better first show that I've ever seen.
He just set himself up for like tour for years. That one show set him up for years. I'm not talking just this year. Like, it set him up for next year too. I mean, think about everything that's on the line too, with not only the exemption and all the other things that come along with winning a major, the money, the financial aspect. You're not squeezing now for a check every week, right? Like, you have like a little bit of cushion. And if you play it right, you could extend that cushion for a couple years, right? Off of one show, 110,000, right? It's like, yeah, it's pretty amazing. And, good for him. Alex James in the chat says, going to the last game of match play Friday, Bonta was out of the show. Don't forget that. That's all you got to do is have a
You just got to get
chip,
there.
a chip and a pulse right on the show.
That's it.
So,
You just got to get there.
Yeah, the TOC entry, right? Like, yeah, there was the kid didn't look phased with everything on the line for him on one match, and then to go bowl 300. Mike, we could talk hours about how great of a performance that was, but yeah, big shouts to him, man. Like, happy for him. He seems like a good kid. But anyway,
the one thing I thought about was, man, a few years ago, I forget who the company was that was doing it, but Fox was having a thing where if you shot 300 in the final of a major, it was $1 million.
God, I don't remember what show that. Do you remember what year that was? Someone probably looked that up. I could look that up right now, actually, and try to find it. Anyway, all right, Mike, you want to get into our awards? Anything else you want to talk about for the show?
No, not really. I think we pretty thoroughly covered it there.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Mike. So what award do you want to give first? I think
Whatever
we could give some of the. All right, I'm gonna go through some of the awards where I think me and you are gonna have the same award. So we'll explain the awards, right? So our first award is the spare shooter, and it's not spare shooter with an ER, it's spare shooter with multiple A's. And the spare shooter award is the person or people that missed a lot of spares either during the week or on the show that cost them. And we see that it seems to be a trend every time we watch a show. This last year, the year before, it seems always there's missed easy spares on the show. So we created this award. So spare shooter award. And I think me and you're gonna have the same award here. Honestly, I would want to give it to all three players today on the show that missed single pin spares. I'm giving Bonta a free pass. Okay. For the first frame of our live show, you're probably gonna miss any spare. I think that is set up there. And I'll also probably give a little bit of a pass to Robarge too, because first game, nerves, TV. I'm not giving a pass to Svensson for that 7-pin miss. This is a seasoned veteran who's been doing this thing, 14 titles, been on shows, majors, years on tour, seasoned veteran, close match. And then what does he do? He goes and misses a 7-pin. So
agreed.
That's my spare shooter. Is that who you had, Mike?
Agreed.
Okay. Next award.
I think we should go milk carton next, because we should both have the same person for milk carton if we're on the same page here. I'm thinking.
Go ahead, you go. I'll let you know.
So the milk carton award is an award we give out to someone you haven't seen in a while who's back, right? It could work around that however you want, but it's the milk carton award because they've been missing. They were on the milk carton. Now they're not on the milk carton anymore. They're back. So it's the milk carton award. And to me, the milk carton award this week has to go to Brad Miller. Has to go to Brad Miller. 100%.
Yeah.
There's no other choice.
Yep.
There's nobody else it could be. It's Brad Miller. Brad Miller hasn't been seen for what? The vlog was getting very dark towards the end of last year. The vlog was getting very dark. We ended last year not even knowing where this was going to go. It looked like who knows. But Brad Miller comes back in a big way this week. Bowls really well in the PTQ, makes it through, then makes the cut to the cashers round, then makes the finals, and actually finished, I think, in like 6th place or 7th place. So really nice showing from him.
Yeah, went down to the final.
Been a while since he's had a run like that. So I definitely give him the milk carton award this week.
Yeah, and Brad Miller's his TV show life went down to the last 2 or 3 match play games. And even in the last game, he started, I think, front 5 or spare 5 bagger or something, and he needed a huge game because he was out of it by a lot. And there was a time where you're like, man, I think he's gonna make a real good run here. And then he threw a couple bad shots that cost him. But agreed, Brad Miller is also my milk carton award winner too. So all right, we'll move on to the next. Let's ride with, okay? Because I think we're gonna end up riding. I mean, obviously we have to. I'm riding with Bonta. There's no other option here. The kid, we talked so much about it, Mike. I don't want to keep talking about it, but I mean, yeah, well, for what he did tonight or today on the show is just pretty incredible. And I would love to ride with him and his parents and probably like a few other of the friends and support. Like that car ride, wherever they're going tonight, wherever they're going to eat dinner, is probably going to be a lot of positivity and good vibes.
Yeah, no question, no question. I mean, and that's the easy answer, right?
I played
Obviously.
it safe, like the CW.
Yeah, no doubt. I would probably I wouldn't mind riding with EJ either. You know, you finish second. You're still the kingpin right now,
Still the king.
right? You know, it's like, he's probably riding like, what a nice story for that young man. Oh, what a great start for him, man. That's just amazing. He shot 300 against me, and won the
See you,
major. Wow, that was great.
see you next
Rookie of the
Sunday.
year. He's gonna be rookie of the year. That's awesome. Oh man, that's great. Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah, EJ's like, see you next Sunday on CW.
Yeah, I'll book my spot on the show and I'll see if you're there. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely could go there as well. I would say who I'm not riding with this week. I'm probably gonna say Sean Maldonado.
Dude, that's who I wasn't riding with. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
You got to pick somebody. We got to pick another person. But I would say Sean Maldonado because like all week he was up top.
I know.
All I saw was like Sean Maldonado, Sean Maldonado, Sean Maldonado, and then all of a sudden after a couple blocks of match play, it was like, oh, he's not even in it anymore. I sat down Friday night to watch the last block of match play, and I'm like, oh, geez, he's not even in the running. So
I changed my pick, FYI, for not ride with.
okay, go ahead.
This one's completely out of the box, Mike, but I don't want to play it safe like my last. I'm not riding with Randy Peterson. Do you think Randy Peterson?
He ain't even riding. Let's be honest. He's home,
Do you
chilling.
think he watched the show? Do you think he was like, "Oh, these
I don't know.
MNFers"?
I mean, he has me blocked on Twitter, so probably not. He probably didn't watch the show if he has me blocked on Twitter. No.
Why did he block you on Twitter? What did
I
you
don't
do?
know. I don't know. Probably because I said something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered if Randy was watching. For some reason, that went through my mind. So anyway. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Give you another good not ride with if you want one.
Sure.
Belmo.
Well, yeah, Belmo won a different award from me, but
Belmo.
not make it top 32.
You know, and then like to make matters worse, you know, if you are riding with Belmo and you're watching the show somewhere, let's say you bring it up on your phone and you're in the passenger seat and you're watching. But maybe you're driving. Belmo's in the passenger seat watching the stream of the show, and what do? They throw out a comment about how really surprising he didn't even make the cut this week. Didn't even make it. You know, it's like it's got to sting a little extra. It's got to sting a little extra when they're talking about you not making the cut.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be there. I don't think there's really any worry. I think he was throwing the ball. In my opinion, I thought he was throwing the ball pretty good, honestly, this week. Physically, I still think he looks pretty good. So not counting him out yet. I think I'll go a bold take and a hot take here, Mike, and say that this will be the lowest he'll finish all year. That would be my bold hot take. So
I mean, I think if that's the case, then he probably had a pretty good year. So
probably. All right.
Okay, where are we going next?
Let's go with who took the heat and who didn't take the heat.
Okay.
And if I don't, I'll talk about who didn't take the heat. Spencer Robarge didn't take the heat, Mike. He just didn't get comfortable. Just the lights, the TV, the live, everything. He seemed to be lost, right? Just out of whack. He just couldn't get his ball do what he wanted to do. And then Bonta seemed to relax that match and just kind of learn what the heat was, and then went and rode with it, right, until he won that title. So yeah, I mean, obviously Bonta is the obvious choice who took the heat, but there was a lot of heat on him for a first show, and I don't think you could really pick anybody different, in my opinion, because the kid he took the heat better than anyone ever seen take the heat. So those would be my two choices there.
Yeah. I mean, well, taking the heat better than anybody ever. I don't know. I mean, I could argue that.
Really?
There were a lot of spots in this show today where I didn't really feel like he was in danger. I didn't really feel like he.
With the Fa match, you don't think he was in date? Like he
Oh,
was
the
doing
Fa
that
match, definitely. I would say that the Fa match is where the heat was to me. Fa not handling the heat, and Bonta handling the heat. Bonta handing out heat by getting up in the 10th and doing what he needed to do, and then Fa not handling the heat by not being able to throw the shots to close things out.
Mm.
So yeah, I definitely I agree that match particularly was a key. Yes.
What are you doing over there? Oh, messing around.
No, I'm trying. My computer's about to die, and I don't have a charger that's working here, so I'm trying to
Great.
arrange a charging situation. I'm gonna have to
It might be just me.
my mic off for a second here.
All right. Let's unveil our new awards, and then we always have to finish with my favorite award, the dumpster diving. But okay, so we're gonna do a new award tonight. I'm calling it the Sweep the Rack Mush Award, and there's this the Sweep the Rack Reverse Mush Award. The Mush Award is the award where we made predictions of people that were going to be bowling well and that didn't, or predictions that were going to have good years on tour, or maybe we bought stock and finished really low. And then the vice versa, people who we didn't have confidence in that weren't going to do well, that ended up kind of like shutting us up or making us put our foot in our mouth, in a sense, right? So my Mush Award is I'm going with Kyle Troop, because Kyle Troop didn't exactly have a really good week. And I was on our prediction PBA show, like made some predictions that he was going to almost be in the top 3 this year in points, and didn't have a good start to the season. So my Mush Award of me mushing someone would be going to Kyle Troop.
My Mush Award, I think it's easy. It's us betting on Spencer Robarge. That's where the Mush Award goes.
Yeah, we mushed him for sure. My reverse Mush Award is going with the Belmo. No, sorry. Wait, I actually picked 2 people I mushed on my award. That's really bad. Who's your reverse Mush Award, Mike? I got to figure that out real quick.
Well, the reverse Mush would be Brandon Bonta, because we went against Bonta in game 1, pushed him to the win. Then we went with him in game 2, got the under wrong, abandoned it, but he had enough to get to the finish line. So I would say that would be my my reverse mush there.
Yeah, that's probably a good one. I think we could. There's a lot of other people, because I think someone who really bowled really well that we didn't really talk a lot about. Andrew Anderson had a good week. I think kind of fell off there at the last few qualifying match play, but was
I feel like we also we probably put, or I put the mush on EJ a little bit. I feel like almost seeing that he's the number 1 seed and he bowled so good all week and all that, and just to see that, you kind of almost assume that he's going to get the W, and you put the mush on him in that regard.
Yeah. I see you, Haas.
Well, that's easy.
Well, I actually didn't pick Bonta.
No, but I mean, it's almost got to be Bonta.
Well, there's a few other people that I feel like deserves props because we've already mentioned Bonta a lot, obviously deservingly so. A few young kids made some really good showings, including CJ the Claw Petrin. If you didn't see CJ Bowl this week, he's another rookie, and I guess they gave him the name the Claw, and I'm not really sure if that's a good nickname because the Claw tells me like the kid just grabs the bejesus out of the bottom of it, and I'm not really sure it's a good nickname or not. But yeah, he had a great week this week, Mike. I think after like the 4 qualifying rounds, I believe he was like in 4th or top 5. And then obviously, like once you get to match play, it's a whole different beast, Mike. And you gotta like actually bull head up against best players in the world. But CJ ended up finishing in 13th. I mean, talk about a great performance for a rookie on their first show or first tournament. 13th is nothing to sneeze at. So
Yeah, there was the name is gonna escape me right now. Who was it? Hold on, I gotta go back and look.
who about what? A young kid who finished top 16?
Trey Brand,
Oh.
right? Who early in the week was leading. So if I'm not giving it to Bonta, or I'm not giving it to Robarge, who obviously are the easy answers there, then I'm probably giving it to Trey Brand.
Trey Brent. Also, you could put some other names, some honorable mention. Nate Garcia had a good week. He was up there for a while. I think BJ Moore has got to get a little bit of props. I feel like he doesn't get talked about a lot, and he had a great week too. So yeah, just a few names I see you us. All right, Mike, let's get to dumpster diving.
All right, go ahead. Who do you got?
I'm going with Boog, Mike. Our boy Boog didn't have a good.
That's who I had him on my list too.
Our boy Boog didn't have a good week this week, Mike. It's finished 90th. I have here out of 96 players. Yes, and there's I think the other dumpster diving. I think Fred talks about in the chat, Mike. If you're not going with Boog, right, who finished 90th, I mean you got to go with Matt Russo, right?
Or Nate Stubler.
But Matt Russo finished 89th. Stubler finished 85th. And then AJ Chapman finished 86th. So you could put all those names in a dumpster diving, but unfortunately,
Kevin Williams getting some mention in the chat from Dougie and a couple other people.
83rd. I mean, you really look at the bottom of the list here, like there's some big names here. Smallwood finished 84th. Jake Peters, 82nd. Vi finished 81st. Sean Rash finished 76th. Matt Sanders, 75th. Butcher, 73rd. So for people to say the lefties had it this week, I kind of feel like is not a really fair statement because there's a lot of lefties who finished at the bottom of the pile here, no?
But how can you argue that the lefties had it or didn't have it when
I think it's fair to say that they didn't or they did have it. I think it's fair to say that they didn't have it or they did not have it. Because you look at the bottom here and you got some big name lefties here at the bottom of the list. Matt Russo, Buttriff, and there I mean, just those two, like if you think the lefties had it, you would think that would have had a really, really better performance than where they were, right?
Yeah, I guess to a point, I guess that remains to be seen as to how much success they have for the rest of the season. If this was later in the season, and let's say lefties hadn't made a lot of shows up to this point, then I'd probably say, yeah, you're cooked because you had it and you weren't able to capitalize. But if we get to the end of the season here and the lefties have had a pretty good year, maybe there's a lefty or two that's in contention for player of the year or something of that of that magnitude, then yes, I might reevaluate that and feel a little bit differently about it.
Gotcha. All right, Mike. I think that should wrap up. Anything else you want to go through, talk about before we?
No, I think that's it. I think that wraps up our first official review of the first PBA tournament of the year.
Cool. All right, Mike. You want to do worst of the week? You want to get into it, or you want to fix bowling real quick, or you want to pass
Yeah,
on that?
no, let's get into an idea of how to fix bowling. Yes, let's
Yeah.
get into something that will improve bowling.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to let you start.
People aren't going to like this one.
Okay.
People aren't going to like this one, especially the ball companies and the patch pirates. We need to limit not only the number of balls that are released per year, but I think we may need to put some more stringent rules in place for the development of the bowling balls.
Okay. So you want to put a limit on the releases?
I want to limit the number of balls that are released per year per company.
Okay, so explain how I'm with. I hate that.
I want to make. I mean, if you want to look at it another way, if you want me to put it another way, I want to make the game less about the bowling balls and more about the skill of the player. I feel like we've gone too far in terms of how much the bowling ball matters in the current game.
It's odd these days where somebody bowls good or bowls bad, where you don't hear or see them on social media like taking responsibility for themselves bowling bad. If somebody bowled good, the first thing they do is they thank their bowling ball, that it was the bowling ball. It's a great ball. Go and drill it. Go drill 5 of them. I had a great look, all this. And if they bowled bad, it was because they didn't have a great reaction, or it just became all about the reaction instead of like, well, I didn't really execute. I hear you talk about that all the time when you're like league review, right? Like, yeah, you'll talk about how like, yeah, maybe your reaction wasn't great, but most of the time you'll talk about I didn't really execute at a high level. I didn't duplicate shots. I just fell off. I didn't this and this. But in today's game and today's social media, it's never about the bowler. It's all about the bowling ball. And I agree.
Yeah, I think it would benefit the game greatly across the board if we tried to scale back how important the bowling ball is. And I had this thought, Rob, while giving a lesson recently to a younger player, and it's so hard to teach somebody and give somebody a lesson and try and progress them down the path of getting better at the game without jumping right to, well, you better go drill 2 or 3 balls.
Nope.
And it just makes me realize, like, no, I think we've gone too far. We've gone too far down the path of how much the ball matters, right? And I think the game would be well served to bring that back a bit. Now, I know some people have sort of different conceptions about what this could be. Like Kevin in the chat is saying, reintroduce some plastic ball only tournaments or something like that. You just had Gary Beck. This made me think about it too. You just had Gary Beck run this Match Play Madness tournament out in Vegas, right? And it barely got any entries, Rob. He guaranteed 50 grand for first. He guaranteed 50 grand for first, and it barely got any entries. I think the women's division had 2 entries, period.
Do you remember they tried to run $1 million tournament years ago?
Yeah.
And there weren't people that were interested. The entries were low, so they had to cancel it.
Right. No, well, the shtick of this tournament was that skill ball.
Yeah.
It was the Team Master skill ball, right? Now a two-handed lefty still won it. Okay. Which, kind of speaks to probably where we're at. But at the same time, it's like I think the game would be better served if we went a little bit more towards. I'm not saying we have to go that far, but a little bit more towards that than where we are right now. I just think it's become too much about the ball, not enough about the skill of the bowler. And yeah, I think the game would be improved if we could turn that back a little bit. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how extreme you want to go. I'm not saying limit resin balls or this or that. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is limit the options people have. Limit limit the technology. Limit the way that they can use the technology. Right? How about looking at it like that?
Yeah, because I would disagree with, like, you could never in a sport like stop technology from happening.
Right.
So like you don't want to stop it. You just want to I guess customize it more, or just
I want to limit it. I want to limit its capability, limit its exposure.
Okay. I like that. I'm a big fan of getting back to more of the purity of the game, right? Of like the physical sense of duplicating shots type. I think the bowling has got away from that. Now it's just drill a ball and create the most area. And it's an interesting conversation. It's definitely debatable. And I'll probably make a GIF or a reel out of it and let you get crapped on for a little bit this week. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's an interesting question from Dougie. Do we think the truck being on site is a negative to the bowlers? No, it's not a negative to the bowlers. But I think the better question, Dougie, is it a negative to the competition, to the integrity of the competition? And in the instance of the PBA, I'd probably say no. It's less, I would think, at that level than it is at some of the lower levels. I think once you get to, well, I don't know. I might be wrong about that. I mean, I guess it's arguable that at that level it might even matter more than at the lower levels, perhaps. I think that's probably a deeper and more nuanced conversation than we have time for right now.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely don't think it's a negative to the bowlers. Absolutely not.
All right, Mike, let's talk how I would fix bowling. And this is going more on the just theme of today, right, of the show. And we talked earlier about what we would do, or some ideas to fix the television show, or what some things CW should have added. And I kind of liked a few days ago, this past week, when the PBA put on that YouTube match between Belmo and Tackett. I think that's just additional social media content that's just beneficial for them to do, right? But I think that the PBA, what they need to do is they need to create more social media like YouTube, maybe videos and streams or whatever, where it shows a lot of behind the scenes of maybe what a pro like EJ is doing to prepare for the show today, right? Like, mic him up. I want to hear his conversations with Brett Spangler and just everything maybe he did today when he woke up, right? Like, well, what was his preparation? What was his conversations? What balls did he drill? What was his just whatever you can give me on the morning of the show or this week or and I know there's a documentary that is filming and they're still doing a filming. I heard during the qualifying, Flanagan was talking about how they're actually filming or possibly filming for season 2, which is, I guess, good to hear because we haven't even seen a season 1 yet. So they're pretty confident, I guess, that they're putting out a good product. But all I'm saying is, like, I think this would be a good pair between like the PBA doing something like this, where they put out like a 30-minute behind the scenes of like someone like an EJ preparing this week or the last few days, what he was doing to get ready for the tour and the morning of, and when he's there, mic up his tour reps, and then show some of those clips on the CW show. Like maybe EJ's kid was there with his wife. Like, what were some of those conversations that he had with his wife? Like, just I want to get more personal and intimate with the players. I want the fans to get build a relationship with the players, and I feel like there could be a good pairing between the CW showing clips and the PBA putting that on their social media. And to me, that's how you get fans invested in the players and how you build a more of a following and a loyal fan base to players. And Kevin says in the chat, they need the quarterback version of PBA behind the scenes of the players. And hopefully that's what the documentary they've been filming for the past year or two is what is going to bring us, something like a quarterbacks. And if you haven't watched that show on Netflix, it's actually a really good documentary. And they have been following around quarterbacks and they follow around some wide receivers. And you definitely get to know the players personally. And it would be, I'd be more in tune to buy a jersey of my favorite player if they were on that show and I could learn about them in a sense of outside the lanes.
Fair enough.
All right, Mike, you ready to get worst of the week?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
Hi, Rob, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first because I've noticed the last few weeks being on social media and managing our Facebook page. And if you're not a follower, please go to our page and like it. I always appreciate that. I know Mike doesn't care, but I do. I have noticed more and more AI posts, like clickbait AI posts. And when I post on our social media, I post when I'm writing something, that's me writing it, right? I don't use AI to write it. I use AI for those videos that I post, and that should be obvious because who invents a bowling glove that has 500 RPM, which was a very popular video this past week. But I've noticed that there's been a lot of like AI type clickbait where they'll like post pictures and not even of the correct pictures of people, and they'll write like a 4-paragraph AI and people are like responding to it, whatever. I get it. I saw this come across my page and I wasn't sure if this was AI or not, but it definitely sounded that way. You could never know if they do it the right way. And it is coming from, man, I don't know. Here it is. The Storm Nation Domination page. Okay. The post was, I've seen several comments and posts around this, so let's hear your thoughts. True or false? House shots inflate averages. That was the post, Mike. What planet are you living in that you have to make that post? What planet are you living in?
Oh, that's just troll clickbait. Come on.
But I seen that a lot now, and that's the reason why I like literally started this worst of the week talking about these now AI pages that are. I saw one page, and I was going to give that worst of the week, where they posted like a 5-paragraph bio of Marshall Holman, and the picture wasn't even of Marshall Holman. It was like an AI generated version of Marshall Holman. Like I've seen some real nasty trolling, clickbait, engagement type posts. And it's just kind of annoying when you're like a real page like we are, and I'm trying to have discussions about bowling and I'll post stuff and I'm putting thought and a lot of like trying to make a good post so people could like come on and engage. And then you have these other pages that are just like throwing out complete trash. So anyway, that's my
All right, mine's a little bit later here. This was suggested to me on social media. It's I believe it's someone named Winner Esther. Winner Esther, congratulations! You are our worst of the week winner here. So Winner posted a picture of their bowling ball in the oven. Okay, it's another bowling ball in the oven post.
Oh God.
We love these, and it says tomorrow I'm participating in a 50+ tournament, and I want to perform as well as possible. As preparation, I always remove the oil from my bowling balls. My method is to put the balls in the oven about 3 to 4 times, making sure the temperature doesn't exceed 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. After each time in the oven, I clean the ball with a ball cleaner. I repeat this until the ball stays dry. I've been using this method for about 4 years now and have never had any issues with my balls. I'm curious what you all think about this. Do you have any experience with it, or maybe some tips or better methods? I mean, God, come on, folks. Stop putting the bowling balls in the ovens. All right, please.
Yeah, that's an old school. Like we did that when we were kids, and then when your ball like cracked completely down the middle, and I'm talking like a 3-inch like crack, like width, like all around the bowling ball. You wonder, like, I'll never do that again. All right,
Dishwashers, ovens. I mean, is this really going to help us win the tournament? If you're that concerned about winning the tournament, go drill a new ball. Go drill a ball for the tournament. Don't put the ball in the oven. Go drill a new ball.
Yeah, that's what they make these ball cleaners. There's so many good ball cleaners out there that you could buy. And if you're looking, honestly, if you want to rejuvenate your bowling ball, go to the pro shop, have them put it on the spinner, take it to like a 2000 or a 1000, and then have them bring it back up and then put some polish on it. And then your ball is going to be just as good, if probably better than putting it in the oven, which is like something you would do probably back in like the 60s. But anyway, all right, Mike, you ready to wrap this up?
Oh, hold on. The Spatula 300, the bowling betting expert for RotoWire Bowling, Steve is in the building. He says worst of the week, the PBA sportsbook partner Legends for not posting any odds until yesterday and only posting winner odds. Yeah, and we talked about it, Steve. It's unfortunate that they partnered with an online sports book that really isn't, official, right? So, yeah, just disappointing to see, but nonetheless. Pav, what's good? How's it going? Tom Gorman saying Winner Esther is a clickbait page. All right, well, doing a good job there. They got me to. I didn't click on it, but they got
him. As I was just talking about AI, like bowling posts.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's amazing that somebody out there is wasting their time generating AI bowling posts, other than Rob, I mean, outside of Rob.
All right, there's a lot of thought that goes behind those ideas of those AI videos that I make. I don't hit on every one, but once in a while I get a few good ones, so all right.
No doubt. But yeah, as much as we give worst of the week to Legends, shout to Bet Rivers. As Jason Pav in the chat is saying, they had great bets up all week, action all week. I got to lay off though. I got to lay off. There's no winning at this sports betting thing. It's impossible. So got to pick our spots a bit better here.
Yeah, I also got word that Prize Picks. Have you ever heard of that? Are doing bowling bets?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
And they actually have like over under on strikes and total scores and stuff. So I'd be interested to see some of those odds on Prize Picks. But you're right. I'll probably make a couple more bets because I have a couple 100% profit boosts, and then I'll be done after that. But I'll save my bets for next week. And maybe I won't do the 2-leggers anymore, and I'll just stay with like the over and unders, which is probably, I think, a easier bet in a sense. So, all right, Mike, let's get this wrapped up.
Yep. All right, Rob, final thoughts?
No, just this week, I believe, is the Pete Weber tournament in Missouri Classic. The Legends, as we talked about, the Legends PBA Pete Weber Missouri Classic is this week, Mike. So, we're in the now thick of it here. Second week. I'm trying to look up real quick the actual format so I could talk to the people here and expect what, when, and where to bowl here. So looks like there is going to be a PTQ on Tuesday. So not a PTQ on Monday, Mike. PTQ is on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, they're bowling. Looks like 3 qualifying rounds, 2 on Wednesday, and then 1 on Thursday. Then they're cutting to the top 24, and they're doing elimination match play, where they'll do best of 7. So you talk about not wanting to bet, and now they're throwing the best of 7 matches at you. But the top 8, Mike, of the qualifying are going to receive first round buys. And then it's going to go best of 7 until you get to your final 5. And they're also next Saturday, Mike, is actually going to be the PBA Junior National Championships is going to be on Bowl TV, and that's going to be on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. I believe that is all Central Time. So Saturday there'll be the PBA Junior National Championships, and then Sunday we're back on CW again at 4 p.m. Eastern for the final 4 or 5 of the Pete Weber Missouri Classic.
Okay. Pat Brown in the chat saying that the PBA's YouTube channel is doing a post-game show right now, talking about the show, interviewing Bonta. That's cool. I mean, that's stepping in the right direction. It's
That's cool
for us, but I'm okay with it. They did a pregame show as well. I saw that. I caught a little bit of that. It wasn't very well promoted, but
I mean,
to see it pop up.
I have to watch it and see if they're actually like having good interviews, because sometimes the player interviews are just, I mean, a little bit dull in a sense. And I mean, they're not going to be like us interviewing, asking like some crazy questions sometimes that we ask the players. But
Kevin in the chat, what's up, Kev? Says this week's Missouri Classic could be a disaster. It's a Bolero 10 minutes from my house. Literally no real bowlers bowl there. It's a Dave and Buster's. I've heard the approaches are atrocious.
Something to look for.
Rough.
All right, Mike, what's your final thoughts so we can get out?
Again, looking forward to the action this week. Looking forward to the continued PBA action. It's nice to have it back on a week-to-week basis and know that every Sunday we're gonna get some PBA action. So very good to see, very cool to see, and great start. Shout to Brandon Bonta. That's my final thought. What a performance, man! Something I'll always remember. As a bowling fan, I mean, first major title, 100,000, 300. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just
hopefully it's not
one for the books. One for the books, no question.
Hopefully it's not the peak for him. And if you don't know what the peak is, it is a Blue Mountain State reference that where the backup quarterback threw 5 or 6 touchdowns in one game, and he kept saying, "This is the peak of my life. It's just downhill from here." So hopefully it's not the peak for Brandon, and I don't think it will be. I think he's got a really bright future. So yeah. All right, Mike. I think we'll be back next week around the same time, probably. Unless
we should be. I think that should work, and we will see the people next week. Keep the emails coming. sweeptherack@gmail.com. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us out. Makes Rob really happy. So like and subscribe. Hit us up on social media. We do most of our discussion on X. He's at Brooklyn Rob 11. I'm at the 215th. And if you are looking for some merch, check out InsideBowling.com. Go to Content Creators, Sweep the Rack. Use the code Patch Pirate for 15% off. Enjoyed tonight. Glad PBA bowling is back. Fun to do the rundown. Great event today. Great tournament. A little bit disappointed in the CW and what they're doing with the shows as we discussed, but nonetheless, bowling is back, so we'll take the positive there. Rob, we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys. Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.